Yeah, I could hear you. Go ahead. And how can I create a function to open IE and navigate to PeopleNtech?
So before we do it, we just type the systemutil.close by name that we can close any browser that opened currently.
Okay, systemutil dot
Close by name.
close process by name, right?
Oh yeah, close.
Okay, and
then IE.exe, and then systemutil.run.
right.
And then we have to write down iExplorer.exe.
Right.
Parentheses, and then we have to open another one and enter URL, which is www.PeopleNtech.
There is no parentheses in this.
Period. Sorry.
No, I mean the comma. You mean the comma?
A comma. I confused. Sorry.
Alright. Okay, PeopleNtech.com, right?
And then the browser. We have to write down browser and parentheses.
For these two lines, that's about it, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. No, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and ask someone else for the next. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. So I want someone else to answer for these. Enter username, password, and login one. Okay, guys. So what type of, before that, can anyone tell me what type of functions that we are creating right now? So remember we talked about there are two types of functions that we are learning. Static functions and then dynamic function. So whatever functions that we are creating here, is any of the value changeable until you change it manually? No. So this is a step. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Kaisar, you forgot to tell me the most important part, right? How can I convert these? These are just discrete programming. These are just discrete programming language. And how can I convert them into functions, right? Functions, right? Remember. And then give it a name, open browser. Remember, that's the most important part. And we forgot about that, right? Okay, well, that's fine. Right? So now this is a function. So is any of the values that we used or any of the data could be changed here? That's changeable until going to the function itself and changing it. No, so this is a static function, right, guys? This is non-changeable, or there is no arguments getting called within the function itself. Okay, so this is a static function. Okay. So the next is username, password, and login menu. So I want someone to tell me. So what we are going to do for these, actually for username and password, let's just do for username and password. So for username and password, we already know that these are web edits, right? Web edit. These are web edit elements. And so actually first let's create and identify those And then how can I convert it into a dynamic function? I'm going to ask that to someone. Okay, so let's first do that browser. It's a web edit object. And how can we identify this web edit? We go to object identification, web, and that's web edit. HTML tag and name tag, right? So we know we need HTML tag. So we already know this part. Guys, there are many other ways to create functions. There are two more ways. Actually, one more way we're gonna learn. And if you're not clear about this way, you're not gonna be clear about the other way that we're gonna do, which is not little bit, it's more advanced. Okay, I would not say it's a lot advanced, but it is advanced method of creating functions. If you do not pay attention, I see a lot of people in the attendee list that are showing not attentive. Okay, so if you're not paying attention right now, the other way that I'm going to show in probably tomorrow's class or next week or so, or maybe today, it's not going to be very easy for you to understand. You have to. This is the easiest way that I'm showing you how to create functions with that with distributed programming. But the other way that I'm going to show you, that's gonna be the way that you will be actually creating. Okay, well, you could create this way too, but that's the other way is the most popular way of creating functions, because that's easier and you could release memory and everything, which I'll explain later more easily. So but for you to understand that, you have to understand this. So this needs to be absolutely clear. So guys, please pay attention to the people that are not attentive in the class, or not paying attention, since you feel like that you already know distributed programming and you don't really need to pay attention to this. Guys, please, okay? This is for your further advancement in the class, okay? All right, so, and then name. So let's find out what is HTML tag and name, right? We already know it's probably input for HTML tag, but let's not assume. Let's just check. It doesn't hurt. So for username, it's input, and for name, it's user, right? Okay. And then what? That's set, right? And then we enter. Okay. So can we name these functions, or can we create a function based on this? Yes. Function. Let's say user or m user, okay, because user is a common word. All right. These are just name again, guys. This part is just a name. You could name anything. Okay. So the same goes for password too. Dot. Let's not use set secure. Let's say set. Okay. And let's say our password is 1. Okay. So let's create functions out of this. Function and pass. Okay. All right, so since no one had questions in the beginning of the class, right? So I assume that everyone knew how to do it. So I want to create a dynamic functions called, let's say, function and web edit. So let's say I want to create a function, a dynamic function called web edit, based on, instead of creating, oh sorry, this is not, see, assuming things, right? It's HTML tag is input, but the name value is different. So, see? So always make sure. Okay. So I want someone to tell me that, let's say based on these two functions, the M user and M pass, this is for username and this is for password. And do you see the difference between these two functions? What are the differences between the name value? Do you see the name value is different? Everything else up until this, up to this, everything is same, right? So this is a static function, as you could tell. This is a static function because none of these values are changeable until you change it from the function, and which is not dynamic function. So it's a static function. All of the values are static. It's non-changeable. Okay. So what are the differences between these two functions that you see? Objects are same object. You are going through page, browser to reach that object, the child object. Only the identification, when you are trying to identify that child object, only the name value, even the HTML tag values are same, only the name value is different in each, and the set value, the set data or set value is different. So let's say I want to create, instead of creating only two different functions, since everything, since the objects, not everything, forget about everything, since the object is same in both of these functions, I want to create a function where a dynamic function where I could actually call this name value later on when I'm calling the function, and the set value when I'm calling later on when I'm calling the function. So based on these two static functions, I want to create a dynamic functions. And how can I do that? So I want someone to tell me. And who wants to do that? No one had questions in the beginning, so everybody should be okay, right? Jahan Arabia Sharp. There are a lot of people that shows unattentive. Shuman Karmakar. Do you want to answer? Your hand is raised. Rosario, do you want to answer? Your hand is raised. Okay. All right, so let me unmute you, Rosario. But, okay, so, all right. Rosario, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead and answer.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. For the function, we have to write like function mweb, then in parentheses name v web, comma name v index set web.
No. I'm trying to. What I'm trying to do is that the differences between these two functions. I'm trying to make those differences into arguments. Okay, arguments, and I'm trying to call them as I need them when I'm calling the functions itself. So how can I do that? So as you could see in these two functions, the only differences are the name value and the set value. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create a new function called mwebEdit based on these two functions, based on these two static functions. I'm trying to create a dynamic functions called mwebEdit, and I'm trying to create it in such a way that when I'm going to call this function, I could call the name value and the set value by itself. And how can I do that?
We can write like browser title equals dot star in the parentheses and in the quotation.
Right, so we're not going to try to do the title for now because I haven't talked about that. So let's do it in mid-class.
Okay. Then we have to write like mid-class, the user and the password.
No. After browser, we have to type in page, right?
Right.
Okay.
Because then we have to write the page, mid-class page, and then web edit.
Right.
Then HTML, actually HTML tag.
Right.
And then input, yes.
Right.
Name,
Right.
comma name,
Right.
and then equals colon and equals an ampersand inside the quotation.
No, not inside the quotation. It should be outside.
I mean, outside the quotation. Okay. Name, value, web
The name.
name, V, and web B.
No, you don't really need to.
We don't need to rename them.
No, I mean, it just
Name, value, and the password. The
Right. No, this is just a name. Okay.
Okay.
Understand. This part is just a name. So you could name it anything.
Okay.
So what would you say? Name, value, then what?
Name, value, and then
So far
then
you were
web
good.
B,
You were really good. So name, value, and then what?
and then the click, or actually set web.
Okay. So dot set.
Dot set.
Right.
Outside the dot set.
Right. So dot set, and then
Index inside the parentheses. Actually, no, not the parentheses. Quotation.
quotation.
Yes.
No.
And person name, v index.
Why there will be index?
It's a value. Could be.
So did we use index value in any of them?
Because there are two web edit button. Shouldn't we
right.
use the
No.
index?
So no. When are you gonna use index value? That's a. I mean, you did bring out a good point, but when we would use index value, if there are similar, absolutely similar values and properties and values there with similar type of objects. So we could differentiate these two web edits with their names. Do you see the name? Are the names same here? Do you see the name values are same here in these two? Yes.
They are different names. They have different names.
So they have different name values, right? I mean,
Yes.
name property has a different value for each of them. So
Right.
do we need to use index value here?
I don't think so. No.
No, because we are differentiating. We could differentiate these, even though they are similar. You brought out a good point, but even though they're similar type of object,
Right.
similar object actually, but still we could differentiate. They could be uniquely differentiated from each other, right?
Right. As a value. Right. Different value.
Right. So we don't really need to use index value. Okay.
Okay.
Index value you would use only when there are two similar objects with two. You cannot differentiate them with anything. Okay?
All right.
That's what you're gonna use.
Okay.
All right. So after that, what?
After set, then it's set value. Or
Yeah. So put just some name. Let's say set value, right?
okay.
Put a name in front of it. Or
And set value.
add
Web.
for web, right? And for name value, you could use we too. For
Okay.
web value. All right.
Okay.
And then what?
And
So the names that we have used here,
right.
these are arguments. These needs to be called as
Called as a
Yeah.
function. Right.
Yeah.
So we have to write the v set value right in there.
right. We, however you wrote it there,
Name value, right.
and then
And then set value.
right. So are you following? So what are we
Yes.
trying to do?
Yes.
So what we're trying to do is that we're trying to call this name value as we need them. So we could identify these objects individually, right? And then the set value as we need them, so we could differentiate them, right?
Right.
Okay. So you understand this part, right? That's
Yes.
very good. You did very good. So
Okay.
is there anything else we need to add, or that should be okay?
I think it's okay.
All right. So thank you. Thanks for your participation.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So, guys, so do you understand? She did very good, Rosario. Thank you. She did very good, but you guys understand the part that what I'm trying to say is here, right? So look, in these two, functions. So I copied and pasted. Look, in these two, even though they are similar objects, what was the difference between them? The name value in both of them and the set value, right? In both of them. So, don't you think if there was a way, since both of them are same type of object, only the difference is the name and the set. If there was a way to create only one function to cover both of them, wouldn't that be great? Yes, so you don't have to type in twice the same, almost exactly the same thing, right? So there is a way. That's called creating dynamic functions. Do you see? So we created a dynamic function. This is a dynamic function. This is a static function. We could make this dynamic too, and I'll show you how. But for now, this is a dynamic function that we created to cover both of the wave edits. Instead of creating two separate wave edit functions, we created only one wave edit where we made the difference into arguments. Do you see? So first, we have to put ampersand because we're doing it with discrete programming. You just have to put it, just memorize it. That's how you have to put it, and then you give it a name. And then for set value, that's the same thing, okay? You just give it a name. And then you call them after the function, and these are called arguments, okay? All right. So we're done with. So far, we're done with this, okay? So now for logging one. So let's create a function for logging one. So let's call it word one. And let's do the same. Actually, let's do it with title. I'm going to explain what is title in 1 second. For the people that are not. That do not know what is happening. So for weapon, what do we need? HTML tag and what else? Anyone remembers? Name, right? And so let's look for the HTML tag and name. Okay, so guys, why did I put browser for mid-class instead of Miklas browser, what did I put? Title dot star. Remember what does dot star stands for? Anyone remember? It's regular expression, remember? So it could select from anything. So remember, we did it with my messages. So anyone remembers one messages we have done? Regular expression. We used dot star, right? So we used dot star for regular expression. So for saying that select anything and everything for the number, for this number. Remember, we used our regular expression somewhere like this. Link. So let's say HTML. Like, guys, please pay attention what I'm trying to explain. Let's say it's A, and for text, one message. So since, remember, this one message could change to 2, could change to 3, could change to 4, could change to 100 too. So instead of writing this 1, remember we have written dot star. So that means what? By this we are saying it could be from any number. It could be any number or anything. It could be any number or anything. It doesn't matter what number it is, just select it. Remember? So that's exactly what we are doing here. Look, the browser title equal to dot star. What we are saying? By that we are saying, let's use the object spy. So by that we are saying that this browser, when you go to this browser, right? If when you go to this browser, the class name becomes titles. Remember, the class name become Miklas. So here, title stands for class name. Instead of Miklas using Miklas, I use title. So it's like this: class name. Okay. So class name became Miklas. Now Miklas is becoming title. That's it. And then the title is dot star. So that means what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what title it has. It does not matter whatever title, that means the value, whatever value of that title is selected, since there is only one browser. Do you see any other browser within this? Any parent object? Do you see any other browser in here? There is always going to be only one browser and one page. There's not going to be 2 pages or 2 browsers. Whenever you are selecting a child object, there is always going to be only one browser and one page. So that's why I could use dot star. So I'm saying no matter what the title of the browser or the page is, just select it. Okay? Whatever the value of the browser and page is, just select it. Do you guys understand? Either way it's going to work. Either if you put Miklas or title dot star, either way it's going to work, okay? some people prefers to use this, so it doesn't matter whichever way. It's both of the ways are right, but I just wanted to tell you in both ways. Okay. All right. So you guys understand? No. Creation time is different. Fatima Begum, creation time is a different thing. All right. All right. So let's not worry about that. This is you could either use this or this. Only for browser and page though. Only for browser and page, not for anything else. Okay. It's up to you, whichever way you want to use it. There's a. Okay. All right. So we wanted to find the web and HTML tag and name. It's input, and what is the name? Login. Login, right? All right, then we want to click on it. That's it. Okay. And now, so we create a function for clicking on this. All right, then we want to click on calendar and then log out. Okay. So let's do that. So function, let's say M, or let's just call this M open. So what type of object is calendar? Let's see. It's a link, right? So it's a link. All right. So let's identify the link. So how can I identify the link? It's HTML tag and text, right? Okay, so how can I find that? Let's find it out. And for calendar, what is the HTML tag? It's A, and text is what? Calendar. So calendar, and it's A. And we want to click on it. Let's please pay attention. And then we're going to create a function for logout. Remember, then we need to, so after clicking on calendar, we need to log out. Same thing. First, let's see what type of object is that. It's a link too, right? All right. didn't check the HTML tag. So let's see what is the HTML tag and text value for log. Right. So go down. It's A. Text is log out. And then we click on it. All right. So now, look. Do we really need to create two different functions for same type of object? Where the difference between these two is only the text value. Do we really need to? Absolutely not. Okay. So what can we do is that let's create a function based on these two. Let's create a dynamic function called mlink for, instead of creating two separate functions for the same type of object, let's create a dynamic function called mlink, where we could call this text value as we need them while calling the function. And how can we do that? Can anyone tell me? So by looking at these two, can anyone tell me how can I do that? So let's ask someone. Okay, so anyone wants to answer that? How can I do that? Very easy, the similar way, guys. The similar way. There is nothing different. The previous one that I used. Exactly. Risalat Karim, but do you want to say it in the yes? Shuman Karmakar, sure. So let's unmute him. Shuman, okay, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, okay, in bracket. Now, my link, you have to put bracket.
Oh, mlink after that parenthesis. Okay.
Okay, and it will be.
No, let's do it the other way around. Let's first create the function. And then call the argument. Okay. Yeah, you could call the argument first too, but if you're sure about it.
Browser.
Right. Go ahead.
Then bracket. And quotation. Title. Colon is equal to dot, and then dot page. Bracket quotation. Title is equal colon is equal to dot static, and then dot link.
So dot link, right?
And bracket.
Parentheses,
And quotation HTML tag colon is equal to A, and then after quotation comma, and then again quotation text.
All right.
Okay, colon is equal to. Okay, and after quotation, ampersand.
Exactly.
Okay, and then whatever name we have to argument, then we are going to put over there.
Whatever name that we want to use. Let's say name m text value, something like that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and after that dot and click.
Okay. All right. So that's about it.
Mhm.
And so now what? There's one more thing. Shuman?
Okay, after this, but I'm not sure.
No, we just need to remember we didn't do it in the beginning. Just put it here.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, text value.
Yeah. So no, that's fine. I mean, you wanted to do it in the first place. All right. So thank you. Thanks. Yeah, that's about right. Thank you. All right. So guys, do you guys understand? So can you create? So if you understand this, that means you could create dynamic functions. So this function became dynamic. These were static, and now these became dynamic. Why these were static? Because this text value, this link value, all of these values are non-changeable, or you cannot call them when you are calling the function. But here we have arguments, and you could call those arguments while you're calling the function. Make sense? All right. So let's delete both of them. Are you guys following? So do you see how small our script became, our functions became? Do you see? Because now we know how to create dynamic function. So we don't need to. If there are 100 wave edits, and if there are 100 links, we could still use only one function for that. If there are 100 wave edits, we could use only one function for that, this one. Do you understand? Am I right or not? Okay, guys, is it clear? All right. All right. So now what? What else? What else we need to do? Close the browser, right? So create a function called close browser. That's it. All right, guys. Okay. All right. So everyone understands? So all right. So let's call these functions. Open browser. And then what? Web edit. Remember? That's the name. And put a space. And now what it says? Web edit name value. So what is the name value for the first one? Remember? With quotation, we have to put user. Remember the first one was user? We want to put our user first. And then the set value for the user. What is the set value? What was the set value for the user? It's training one. Remember? And now again, I call the same function. So I'm using the function as I need it. Remember, that was our goal. It's a password with wrong spelling. and then put a comma. And what is the set value? It's ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, are you following? And then M open. Calling a static function, and then link, right? So after that, once we go there, we want to click on the calendar and then log out. So M link, and then we put a space, and then what is the text value? Where we want to click? Calendar, right? And then again, I call the M link function. Since this is dynamic, I could call as many times as I want, and then log out. Remember? And then the function called close browser. Did you guys follow? So is there anything wrong? Did I do it right? Yes, we could use as many as many links as we want, okay? All right. All right, guys, I'm gonna answer the questions in a second. Let's just run this first. Okay. So, opening the browser, let's wait 5 seconds. And then enter username and password. Wait, yeah. Or else you don't see what's going on, okay? Alright, so let's do that. So let's run the script. Let's see, hopefully it works. See if it works or not. Is it working? Yes, so it opened a new browser. Should enter username and password. It did. Click on login. Now you should click on the calendar. Guys, pay attention. Did it click on? Yes. Now it should log out. So many people have birthdays. And then it should close the browser. So do you see how it worked? So it clicked on both of the links. It clicked on, it entered both of the username and password. It clicked on both of the calendar and log out with only one function, because we made it in such a way that it will click on any link as long as you provide a text value with it. It will enter any value as long as you provide the name value and the set value for web edit. Everyone follows? Everyone is clear? Okay. Alright, so what was the question? Because why browser and page are same? It has to be browser dot and OK has to be different. The page has to be different. No. That's not the point. That's not the whole point. For this title, what is the whole point? Look. Let's go to PeopleNtech. Okay, so let's say we're trying to identify the username field, right? So look, the whole point is that we're trying to go through the browser and the page, right? So is there any other page here? There are two web tables, right? Do you see? But is there any other page here? Is there the second page that you were seeing here? From top to bottom. Who was that? Anwar, MD Anwar Hussain? Huh? Do you see any other page or any other browser here except only one? No, right? So that's why, so since there is only one, so what we are saying, instead of saying class name, I'm saying title, and then I'm putting dot star. That means anything that matches with the title, select that. That's it. Simple. Okay. Oh, you got it. All right. So what is this? Can we add 3 or more link in one function? Yes. Not only 3. You could, as long as you provide the text value, you could use 100, 2000. There is no limitation. Okay. Shuman Karmakar. Okay. There is no limitation. Manzoor Ilahi, how we are gonna, this is a specific value. This is a specific value. How would we use dot star for this? You have to provide, if you provide dot star for your password, do you think, let's say you have a Gmail account or Yahoo Mail account. So instead of providing a specific password, if you put dot star, do you think it's gonna work? No. Dot star is to select the anything in between something. Okay. No, I'm sorry, not in between something. Select anything. So if you put dot star, that doesn't mean anything. That's generalizing something. You're trying to generalize something. You have to be specific for the password or for the values that you're providing. Okay. No, that's okay. Manzoor Ilahi, that's fine. Okay. That's not a fun question. Okay. So we can we create dynamic value even if the similar object doesn't come back while writing? So yes, of course. So it doesn't, the link doesn't have to be in order. Like, let's say one wave edit could be here, and another wave edit, if it comes in this stage, here, in this stage, there is another wave edit, let's say. We'll use that example after we come back from break, okay? If there is another wave edit here, after logging out, there is another wave edit here. You could use this here too. So it doesn't have to be in order, no. Okay? However it comes. So after clicking on calendar, we have to click on logout. That's why it came in this way. After clicking on calendar, let's say we had to enter our password. Then this wave edit would have been here. Then let's say we had to click on logout. Okay, so it doesn't have to be in order. Yes. Okay, Mahesh. Mohammed Mahmoud, did you take, were you with the class when we discussed about SDLC? This is a SDLC question that you were asking me, Agile methodology and what about, I did explain both of them while we were discussing about SDLC. Okay, this is not related to QTP. Mohammed Hussein, I do not understand what you were trying to say. What if you are redirected to another page? What does that mean? I mean, then you would select the element, objects accordingly. Okay. What do you mean? Each time we have to change the password? What do you mean each time we have to change the password? The password is static. The password value is static. We created a dynamic function. The values of these are static until the developer changes it. These values are static. Why would you need to change them? No. The values are static. The function is dynamic. Manzoor Ilahi. Okay. So let's say we needed to go another link. then you say m link. Let's say you had to go to messages and guys, it doesn't matter as many times as you want to use that function, you could use it. So let's say you needed to go to help. So you'd say help. Oh, sorry, not like that. First, you need to see the text value. So what is the text value for help? So go down. It's help. See? So you write. So you will click on help. Okay? And then it will log out. Okay, Fatima? Are you clear, Fatima? All right. So we'll do that once we come back from the break. We'll make it more dynamic. All of these functions more dynamic, and we would actually, because I want everyone to understand what is dynamic function and how can I do that. So we'll do in more elaborated way. Yes, for each individual object, you need to create one function, but say only one function though. You know, if you could make the function dynamic, then you need to create only one function for each of the object. So if there was two web buttons that we needed to click on, so we could have made this web button dynamic too. Okay, I'll show you more examples after we come back from break. So far, guys, you guys understand what I did, right? Okay. So if you guys understand what I have done so far, you can understand later on too. All right. Any more questions? Yes. In dynamic function, we can't use encoded password. Yes, we could, but that's a then you have to use a runtime object. That's a different thing. I'll show that later on, not right now. Just right now, I want you to understand the dynamic function. So that's a different thing. Of course, you could use encoded password based on the set secure and secure. But that's later on, I'll show you. But right now, I want you to understand the dynamic function. That's a different thing, okay? Which I'll show in later classes. All right, so are you really scared? So let's take a break, guys. And let's come back by 8:35, okay? Thank you. Some aspects of your test case that will change, that will become dynamic, that will be dynamic. So what can you do? How can you change this to dynamic? Can anyone tell me? Or even this. So if I don't want to go to PeopleNtech, if I want to check mail, Yahoo Mail, then I could just call the function here, open browser, and then write it here. Instead of going to the function. Anyone knows how to do that? Right. So the same way. So instead of writing the Internet Explorer directly, you could just write it something like that. Browser name. Guys, please follow. Same thing, it goes browser name. and we're going to PeopleNtech, right? So let's make this dynamic too. So we say go to, and go to is a, do you see it became blue? That means it's a statement. So we say and go to, or we could say not to. These are just names, you could put it anyway. So the arguments has to be like that too. Are you guys following? Let's save this actually. Today is 14. On 16 there is an applicant. On 15 there will be a Google event, I think. Alright. So dynamic function. Alright. So look. So do you see? We made our browser event dynamic. So we could use anything. So instead of using the static browser, we could change our event browser. So iExplore. Now we are calling iExplore.exe here. And then nav2, we are going to PeopleNtech from here. So let's say tomorrow your test lead comes and tells you to check it with Chrome. Then you could just change it from here. Simple. You don't have to go back to your function and then look for it and then change there. You just change it from the script itself. And if it's, he says, check it with Firefox, you could do the same thing too. And he says, check Yahoo Mail. Then you would say, mail.yahoo.com. Do you see? And if he says Hotmail or AOL, mail.aol.com. Like that, right? Gmail, something like that. Are you following, guys? So now we are checking PeopleNtech. Are you guys following? So we made the browser dynamic too. We made our web edit dynamic. We made it. Which is one of the most important part of frameworks, understanding frameworks. And someone was asking me about keyword driven, data driven, and all of these frameworks. They will be done step by step. If first you need to understand the function, obviously, and all of those other things that we have discussed about previously. So on the keyword driven, data driven, they will start probably end of this month, and then we'll finish it by next month. But you will, this is a fact. This is not something that I'm just using it as an example or anything. It's a fact that if you do not understand this function that I'm creating right now, or this day we started creating functions, you will not understand framework. Okay? All right, so you have to be absolutely clear about this. So today or whenever you get a chance, please do practice on your own by creating different functions. Okay? All right, so let's do this. So let's make our test case more longer. So log into PNT forum, check the calendar page before logging out. So let's do some of the things. So let's say check the calendar page. Check the search page. Search for the term, let's say amend. Then so we go to search for whatever, and then we come back to home and create new topic. Let's do that. Okay, because there are a lot of things that will be involved. Go back home. You will see, even though the test case will be so big, still we wouldn't actually have to create so many different functions for all of this. You will see, we'll use dynamic functions to cover this big test case with only a couple of lines. You'll see our actual function will be, the actual script will be very small. You will see, even though the test case is so much, so big, and we have to do a lot of things. There are a lot of steps involved. Still, you will see at the end, the main script, the driver script, or the actual script will be very small. Okay, so go back to home. Create a new topic under QTP automation, under create topics for Fred. Create topics for practice only section. Okay. And then what else? Create and modify delete. Okay, so do you see there will be a lot of steps, but still you will see that we'll do it very easily. Okay, so log into PNT forum, check the calendar page, check the search page. So after that, let's write the other steps. Check the search page. So click on search, right? click on search page or search link, whatever, right? Click on search, and then number 8 would be typing the search term and then whatever, right? And then 9th is click on this search. This is a web button, I think. Click on search, okay. And then the 10th step is go back home, click on home, click on home. So the 11th stage is guys, I want you to do it this way. I'm creating the steps first because this will be easier, a lot easier for you to learn while you're learning, okay? So click on that and all right, and then click on new topic. And then we click on enter subject and body text, and then click on post, right? So enter subject, enter body text, and then click on post. And then what? Modify and delete. Let's create now. Then click on modify. Change the body text. Click on post. Oh, sorry, click on save, right? And then what else? Delete, right? And then click on remove. Click on remove. And on the remove the message. Click on OK. Click on OK. Off. Thank you. Okay. And that's it. So click on log out, and then click on log out, close the browser, right? So look, there are 22 steps so far, but you'll see it won't be that long. Okay. So let's do this. So far, we have logged in, okay? Let's say up until this, logged in. We changed our open browser function to a dynamic function. So let's see if it works. And let's log in. So did it work? Yes. You open Internet Explorer and you went to PeopleNtech, right? So it's working. All right. So we logged in. So now what? Next what? Login button and click on calendar link. So we should be able to click on that calendar link. So up until this, it's okay. So log out and close browser. Let's put it down. And now let's write others. Okay. Guys, are you following, guys? Or do you want me to start a fresh one? The browser. Okay. All right. So no, just if you guys are following, then I don't want to start a new one. So let's do it from here. All right. So the browser, we haven't done anything. It just, instead of, see, this browser name stands for what? Look, this browser name stands for iexplore.exe. So, and the M, nav2, stands for PeopleNtech. Do you follow? So instead of writing the Internet Explorer here, I renamed it to browser name, so I could write the Internet Explorer here when I'm calling the function. The simple way to understand is that. And because we don't know, we might have to change it to Chrome. So we don't want to go back to our functions and change it. Instead, we want to change it from here. So that's why I renamed it to browser name. It could be Firefox too. The same thing, it could be www.gmail. It could be www.yahoo. It could be www.aol, right? So it could be anything. So things that changes, remember, things that changes are called dynamic. So it could change to anything. And that's why I renamed it to something simple. So I could call it to the main script. This is the starting of the main script or driver script. Right? So this beginning of driver script. So the driver script, so I renamed it to this because it could either be Internet Explorer, it could be Chrome, it could be Firefox. Same goes to nav2, could be PeopleNtech, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL. So since I'm not sure which it's gonna be, or it could change, I made it dynamic by giving it a name or making giving arguments with the function itself. So I could call it later on when I'm calling the function. Exactly the same way that I did with web edit and link. Are you following? All right, guys. So, all right. So let's do this. Okay, guys. So you understand the browser part, right? So if you understand that, That means it's okay. All right. Okay, so what do we have done? So up until now, calendar link is working. So now we have to click on search. Guys, let's run this. Let's run this. Forget about the browse, close browser and log out. Okay, let's run this script and let's see up until what step it does this. I think it will do up until number 6. Isn't it right, guys? Yes. So let's see it anyway. So which is click on calendar link. So it should, this script should be able to click on calendar link. Let's see if it's working. So we're going to start from step 7. Right. So calendar link, right? Okay. So you clicked on calendar. So now what? Now what was the next step? Click on search. So now we need to click on search. So how can I do that? Click on search. What is search? What type of object is that? Let's find out with objects file. So clicking on search. It's a link. Do you see? So it's a link. So do we need to create another function for this? Anyone? No, because look, function, we already created a dynamic function. So let's look if the HTML tag, let's look for the HTML tag. Let's see if the HTML tag is absolutely same as we created our function. So let's click on search. And look, let's look for the HTML tag. Is it same? Yes, A. So it's a static. It could be a static, right? And what is the text value? It's search. So do we need to create another link? No, because we could create. We could call the same link, mlink function, and call the text value, because the text value is different. So call this, look, it says mtext value. So the text value would be search. Remember? Where did I find that? From object spy. Click on search. Look, text value is search. So I wrote search. Is it clear, guys? So far, so good? Yes. Still, if you want me to start from the beginning, I'll do it. Okay. So after search, what are we doing? Type in the search term, amen, right? So look, to go search, and then we're gonna type in the term here, right? So look, there is a tricky point here. I want you guys to tell me what is the tricky part. So we click on that. What is that? That's a web edit. Do you see? That's a web edit. Remember I told you anywhere that you have to type in anything, that will be a web edit, always. So do we need to create another web edit by looking at this? No. Do you see how easy it is? Absolutely not. Look. So now we could call our function called mwebEdit. Look. And then put a space, and it will tell me we need the name value for this mwebEdit function, and we need the set value for the function. So what would be the name value? How can I find that? With the object spot. So click on that. So look down. What is the name value? Search, all in small letters. And what is the set value? What would be the set value? Anyone? Anyone knows? Yes, exactly. It will be amen, right? Because we are typing in, here we are typing in our username. So I wrote training1. Here I'm typing in my password. So I'm writing ABCD1234. Now I'm gonna type in amen. So I'm typing in amen. Make sense? Are you guys following? Yes, makes sense? All right. So we type in amen. So there is a tricky part which we haven't covered. So click on search. And, oh, sorry. So we need to click on search. So what type of object is that? Let's see. The search, it's a weapon. It's a weapon. So do we need to create another function for a weapon? Who says no? So you could use this function. No, we don't actually need to. Your answer is right, Shafiuddin. But yes, absolutely, Shakib Ahmad is right. If we make it dynamic, then we don't need to. But if we use it this way, then we have to create another function. Because this is a static. We are using this function for login only. Make sense, guys? So if we use this, if we try to use this function, then we have to create another function for a weapon, for another weapon. So let's do it anyway. Then we will create a combined or dynamic function. So let's create another one, and search button. Let's call it and search button. And let's copy and paste up onto this. And let's say weapon. And what is the HTML tag? So we're trying to click on this search button. So what is the HTML tag for this search button? Let's see. So we need HTML tag and name. We already know that. HTML tag is input. Do you see? So let's put input. Please follow. And then we need name, right? If you're not sure, you could always go look in the object identification. Okay. So name, what is the name for this search? Search weapon. So go down and look for the name. Name is search. Search. And then we want to click on it. So look, do we actually really need to create two different functions for the same type of object? This is the same object. Do you see? HTML tag is same. Only the difference is the name. So do we really need to create two different functions? Absolutely not. We could create only one function. And let's call it and web button. Oh, it's already there, right? So, but anyway. Okay, web button. And now, let's make it dynamic. How can I do that? So let's copy and paste up to this. And then we're gonna call it weapon. we're going to call the object name, and then we're going to put the HTML tag. It's similar, right? Input. And then for the name, what do I have to write? Anyone knows? So I'm trying to make the name property dynamic. So what do we have to write? Ampersand or and, whatever you want to call it. And then give it a name. Name value. And this is for web button, so call it WB name value. Okay? And then click. So do you see how easy it is? And now call this as an argument. The name that you have given, which is this one. The name that you have given would be an argument after the function. Oh, I'm very bad at spelling, so yes. So correct me if I'm spelling something incorrect. Okay. So, did you see? So now delete this. Do we need this anymore? So now our web button is also dynamic. Everybody is clear? Now our web button is dynamic too. Do you see? So now what I need to change in here? So after going to PeopleNtech, what do I need to change? This login button. I have to click on this login button, right? So after entering username and password, after writing web button, I need to put a space and it says put the name value. Now I need to add the name value. Are you guys following? So what will be the name value? Login. Everybody follows? Yes. So now after searching and adding the terms, what is it? Adding the term I need to click on the search button, right? So how can I do that? Click on the search button and the name value, it's search. So now what I need to do? I need to call the function web button. What will be the name value? Search. That's it. So it will click on the search button. Okay guys, are you following? Is it clear? Why I added this login and why I am adding this search? Because I made the web button dynamic. So since I made this dynamic, I need to enter the name value because I made the name value dynamic. So I need to call that name value when I'm calling the function. Are you following? Okay. Very easy. If you just pay attention, it's very easy. Okay. It's not that complicated. Alright. So then we click on search. Okay. And that's it, right? So now what? Click back on home, right? So click on home. So what is this home? So we need to click on it. How can we click on it? By identifying the object. So what type of object is that? It's a link too. So do we need to create another link? Do we not already have a link? Yes. So do we need to create another function? No. Right. So let's call our function and link. And now the text value we need. So where can I find the text value? Click on that. with object spy and click on home. So we click on home. That's it. You following, guys? So far so good. Okay. And then go down. Then what? Click on create topic, right? So go down and click on QTP automation. So to click on QTP automation, we have to identify this QTP automation object, right? So what type of object is that? Let's look. It's a link. So do we need to create another link? Absolutely not, right? And now we need to enter the text value. So, what is the text value? QTP automation. Are you following, guys? Guys, look. Same HTML tag. Yes, A. And only the text value is different. Right. So anyway, guys, are you following? Okay. So we clicked on QTP automation. And now we need to click on new topic. So what type of object is that? Let's look with object spy. Sorry. It's a link too. Do you see? So do we need to create another topic, another function for this? No. So let's, right, I'm going. So there is some tricky part in here too that we are missing, which we'll cover in a second, but no one could tell me so far, no one did tell me so far what was the tricky part in all of this, but we'll cover it. It will not select that new topic, you'll see. But anyway, why not? I will explain in a second. So anyway, do we need to create another function? No. We just could put the text value with the function. Right? So the same thing goes for to click on new topic. We enter our subject and body text. So let's look. What type of object the subject is. So wave at it. Do you see? So wave at it. And what is the name? Subject. So we say am wave at it. Do we need to? No, we don't need to create. So what is the name value? It's subject. How did I find that? With object spy. Look. Where is the name? Right there. It's subject. I found it from there. And what is the value that I want to type in? Subject. As subject, you could type in anything. Let's say, hello. This is dynamic function test. Okay, guys? As a subject. And now we need to enter our body text. Guys, you need to be very careful that the web edit you are selecting, they have the same HTML tag and value. Look, the web edit function that I created, that we created, guys, are you following? Please follow what I'm trying to say. This is very important. The web edit function, the web edit dynamic function that we created has a static HTML tag, which is input. Guys, are you following? This HTML tag is static. Only the name value we make dynamic, right? So HTML tag is input. So no matter what, no matter how many times I'm calling the web edit, always the HTML tag will be input. But look, in this text area, the body text, where I'm going to enter my body text, has a different HTML tag. The HTML tag from input, it became text area. So do you think our web edit function will work? Do you think this HTML tag, which has the value of input, do you think it will work with text area? So what do we need to do? What can we do about this? No, we don't need a different function. Why would we need a different function? Exactly. You are absolutely right, Mahesh. Yes, we make it as we made our name value dynamic, we could make our HTML tag value dynamic too, no? Yes or no? Can we not make our HTML tag dynamic? Yes, absolutely the same way, right? We said we give it a name, HTML tag value, and then copy, put it here. So we have now 3 arguments. So what do we need to change? What do we need to change in every web edit? Can anyone tell me? So what do we need to add or change in every web edit wherever I call? Yes, I need to add the input value, HTML tag, right. So wherever I call the web edit, I need to put a space, and it will tell me I need to now enter the HTML tag value. Are you guys following? So what is the HTML tag for username? Input, remember? And what is the HTML tag for password? Remember, guys? It's input. So what is the HTML tag for search? It's input. If you're not sure, you could double check. And what is that? Web edit subject HTML tag? It's input. If you're not sure, again, make sure with the object file. So look, what is the subject HTML tag? Input. Do you see? So now, can I not do this one? Yes. with the same function, because we made our function absolutely dynamic. So now we could use it with anything. Any HTML tag, any name value, any set value. Can I not? Yes. So now we call the AmWebEdit again. Instead of creating different web edit functions, we created only one. And we made it completely dynamic. There is not a single value except these. Forget about these two. There is nothing that is not dynamic here anymore. It's absolutely dynamic. This is the absolute dynamic function. Okay. So now we are calling the AmWebEdit for this text area. So what is the HTML tag for this one? Text area. So let's copy and paste that. I don't want to miss a spell, because I always do. So text area, just copy it, paste it, and then comma. And we need the name value. What is the name value for that? Check it again. Its name is message. And what do we need to write? What is the set value? What do we need? What do we want to write? This is a test, something like that, right? Okay, something like that. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to write. Okay. Guys, are you following? Okay. So now we click on post. So how can we click on the post? We need to see what type of object is that. So let's click on that. It's a web button, right? So do we need to create another function for this? Absolutely not. So let's check if the HTML tag is same as the one that we created, or we could change it to dynamic. Let's see. So post, is the HTML tag same? Input, yes. So we don't need to change it. But if you want to change it, it's up to you. But yeah, when you go home, try to do it that way. Make everything absolutely dynamic and try to do it that way. Web button. And now the name value for the post. So what is the name value? It's post. Everybody follows? So we click on post. Oh. Okay, and now this appears. And now then what? Click on modify. So we click on modify. Sorry. So we need to click on modify, right? So how can we click on modify? We need to identify the object. So how can we identify that? With the object spy, and we click on modify. So it's a link. So do we need to create another? No. HTML tag is same A, only the text is different. Right? HTML tag is A, only the text value is different. So M link, and then what is the text value? To find that, the object spy. So what is the text value? Modify. So we click on modify, and then we enter or we change our body text. So how can we do that? Click on that, change our body text. And how can we do that? By calling the web edit again, and then entering the HTML tag value. How can we find that? From the object file, clicking on that. So what is the HTML tag? It's text area. It's and the name value is what? Message, right? It's right there. So right there. But if you want to make sure, just click on that. Right? And then make sure name is the same. And then the text, the set value could be anything. This is a test we wrote before. Let's write this is the modified version of the post. Something like that, it doesn't matter. Okay, all right, so we'll wait 5 seconds, and then okay, then we click on save. We need to click on save. So can you click on save? Yes, it's a web button, right? So we need to click on save. So for web button we need the name value, save. So call the web function web button, M button actually, and then the name value would be save. Are you guys following? Okay, so save. Guys, so far it should be clear because we're not doing anything absolutely new. We just yeah. And now we click on remove. So what type of object is that? Let's check it out. Remove is a link. It's a link, right? So we click on that link. HTML tag is same, and text is removed. So we call the function link, and then we enter our text. Okay, so once we click on remove, what does happen? There is a pop-up window comes up. So we need to identify this pop-up window, and there is no function for that. So let's find out what type of object is that. That's a window object. Do you see? It's a dialog box. So how can I identify this dialog box? Can anyone tell me? I think we have done this before, right? Or maybe not, but let's do it. It's not that complicated. Go to object identification. It's a standard Windows. Do you see? You should leave it as a standard Windows. It's a dialog. It's a dialog. Remember? When you clicked on the object spy and you clicked on the box, it says dialog box. Do you see? So how can we identify the dialog box? Go to object identification and click on dialog. It says the properties that we need to enter is the child window is owned window native class text. So put it in a notepad. Is child window is owned window. So do you see how important the object identification is? It tells you how can you identify the objects. Text. Okay. So these are the 4 things that we need. So let's create a function for that. So let's create a function called dialog or mdialog, something like that. Okay. So to go to that dialog box, what are the things that we need to go through? Only the browser. Do you see? Okay. So we write browser, then we write title, and then we write dialog. What happened? Look, dialog, right? And so what are the properties we need? Is child window, is owned window. So many properties that we need. Let's find out. Child window, false, the value is false. Or 0. Okay, it says 0. So the value is 0. I's own window is -1. -1. Native plus. What is the native plus? Native plus is this. And we need the text, right? Message from web page. Okay, all right. So now we identified this pop-up. Now we need to click on OK, right? So how can we click on that? Click on the object by and click on OK. This is a win button. Do you see? So this dialog box needs to be identified first, and then we need to click on the win button. Okay, so let's identify this dialog box. think we only need these two. We don't really need these two, but let's just add them. It doesn't hurt. But and then win button, remember? And how can we identify the win button? Go to object identification, standard windows, and do you see win button? Native plus and text and window ID. Okay. So we could identify the win button with native plus and text. Native plus and text. Okay. We'll use window ID. Okay. So let's find that out. So that win button that you need to click in. Click on that with object spy, and let's find out the native plus. It's button. And then the text. Let's find out the text. Okay. And then go down and find out window ID, right? It's 1. Okay. Alright, so let's write that. Okay, so we are native plus 1. And then text, okay. And then window ID. And then we want to click on it. Okay. Alright guys, that's it. Should work. So after clicking on remove, we wait, let's say 3 seconds. And then we click on and dialog. Yeah, that's it. You should click on that. But since there is no more dialog box that will pop up, so we don't really need to make it dynamic. So click OK. And then we should, guys, do not, right now, do not create topics. Okay, guys? I see some people created. Right now, do not do that. Okay, guys? Just please pay attention right now. This is, see, Okay, guys, please don't run this script if you're typing it to me right now. Let me finish this, then you could do it. Okay, guys? All right. Okay. So after that, what happened? After that, what do we need to do? We need to log out, right? That's it. We're done, right? We are done. Remove. Click on logout. Close the browser. So click on logout. So what type of object is that? Let's look for it. Should be a link. It's a link, right? And the text for the link is logout. So call the link text value. Oh, sorry. So after clicking on logout, we need to close the browser, which we already created. Function. Do you see? Close browser. That's it. That's it. Done. Even though there are some parts still that's missing from here, which we will discuss in a second, you will see some of the things will not work. But let's just run it. And then we'll fix those problems that we're going to encounter. Okay. So let's run it. Line number 11. Oh, so did you see? We made a mistake. We didn't put the ampersand here, the and sign, right? So where is it? We didn't put the comma here. Do you see? There are mistakes that we already made in our script. Comma, ampersand, all these matters. Do you see? So there is no more problems. Okay. Alright, so it should be good to go for now. Okay, let's try. You should enter the username and password. You should log in. I think up until step 7, it should work. So let's see. So clicking on the search. Until clicking on the search, calendar is working. The search should work. Yeah, now there should, okay, let's see. See, what does it say? The web-added object description matches more than one of the objects. So there are 2 objects. Do you see? It cannot type in amen or whatever we're trying to type in, because there are 2 objects. There are more than one object that matches. How can be there are more than one object? Can anyone tell me? Exactly, because here is the search box, here is the search box. Same, they have same properties and values. So we need to add index value. So let's add index value. After name, put a comma, and let's add index. And let's make it dynamic too, and say ampersand wave edit index, something like that, right? And so after that comma, put wave edit index. Are you guys following? So for each and every wave edit, what do we need to add? For now, each and every wave edit that we used, we need to add index value. Look, so for the first username index value, do we need to add any index value? No, it could be by default 0, since there is no other username field, 0. So let's see where else we use. So search, here we need to use 1. Why? We're trying to search Amin here because this is the second one. The first one is 0. The second one is always 1. Remember, guys? I told you guys. So it's the same thing. And let's look wave edit. So this subject, for this subject, it's 0. For the text area, it's 0. Okay. For the wave edit here, it's the text area, 0. Save, remove. So now, let's see it's working again. Let's run it again. Okay, so it should work. Up until search, it should be no problem. Let's see. They did it right, Amin? Yes. Now it's working? Yes. I should click on search. Do you see it's working? So now I should go back to home. And should QTP animation. They click on it, but now it's not going to work here too. Why? Do you see it's not working? Why? The link object description matches more than one of the objects currently displayed in your application. So that means there is more than one new, we need to click on new topic. There is more than one new topic. Do you see? Guys, so if we add, so new topic is a link, remember? So for link value, if we add an index value, is that gonna hurt? Absolutely not. So just add an index value. And let's make it a static because we could either click on this one or this one. So let's make it 0. Let's not make the index value dynamic. Let's just leave it like that because everywhere else it's 0. 2, 0. Okay? All right. Following, guys? All right, so let's run it from beginning again. Let's see if it's working. So is it working? Did you click on new topic? Yes. Did it type in the subject and the body message? Yes. Click on post. Yes. Did you click on it? Now, is it going to click on modify? Let's see. Yeah, because it's still loading. Do you see one item remaining? That's why. They clicked on it. So now I changed the text to this is a modified version of the post. Now it should click on save again. Did it save? Yes. Now it should click on remove. Again, one item remaining. Do you see? Close the browser. Yes. Very nice, guys. Very, very good. Well, you guys did it. Very, very nice, guys. So, everything worked. Every single thing worked. So, did it work? Everyone? Do you guys understand? Is it clear? Do you see? We created only few functions. How many functions we created? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 functions we created, and we wrote how many steps? 22 steps. 6 functions, we did it, 22 steps. Do you see how easy it is and how nice it is? So can you make functions dynamic? Do you know how to do that? Did it work for you too? Let me know. Go home. When you go home, please practice and let me know if it worked for you. Try to make, let's say, this weapon HTML tag dynamic to this link HTML tag dynamic to, even though you don't need it, you could still do it. Everyone is clear? What? Shafiuddin Ahmad. That depends on the, so text value or name value. Which one we should use for a call or function? No. That doesn't depend on the function. That depends on the object that you are trying to identify. For web edit, we need name value. How do we know that? By going to object identification, web, and go to web edit. We need name value for this one. But for the link, we need text value. So it depends on the object. It depends on the object, not the function. Function is nothing, but it's made out of object. Okay? So it depends on the object, not the function. All right, so everybody is clear? Anyone has any questions up until now? Well, we don't have that much time, but do you guys have any questions? Before I go, I want to show you, or I want you guys to tell me, how can I separate this function from this driver script, and I call this function into this driver script? I want you guys to tell me. Shakib Ahmad. Multiple ID and password, I have shown that with, I think, parameterization, right? Well, if you want me to show it again, I'll show you again in the next class. Or if this will happen in driver data-driven framework. We will start doing data-driven framework in few days. And then you will see how can we do multiple ID and passwords. And there are so many advanced stuff that we're going to learn, okay? So then you will see it, okay? The steps are here. Guys, if you do it this way, you will see how easy it becomes for you to learn, you know? So do it this way, create step by step. And then you will see how easy it becomes. So you'll know which